barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. So I got a question for y'all. Let me ask you guys a real question. My comment section is littered with comments, and I'm just be real. I'm having a joy blocking y'all motherfuckers, like for real. I'm just having a joy. It's fun. Anyways, ask yourself this question, and I'm talking to all my black subscribers, male, female, man, woman, and child. What's more important? Keeping it real about what's going on, since this is a boxing channel, what's going on in the ring, or keeping it real, what's going on in our culture? And the reason why I asked you guys this question is Deontay Wilder's the hottest thing going, right? The hottest thing in sports right now is Deontay Wilder. He's probably trending more than Kevin Durant and LeBron James, and they play 82 times a year, you know. Do we do the pros and cons on the victory, or do we do the pros and cons of our culture? And the reason why I say this, and I want you guys to look at this pragmatically, look at this from 50,000 feet, because I've gotten probably, what, 5,000-7,000 comments in the past 2 weeks, if not more. I'm just guesstimating. And do we want to advance the culture, or do we want to keep it real what's going on in sports? You have to ask yourself this question. I'm just throwing out the proposition that you think about this because of Deontay Wilder. And because if we want to keep it real what's in the ring, does that supersede what's going on in our culture? And the reason why I say that is because I see a lot of comments, and I see a lot of those avatars, a lot of black men, and maybe by the name, maybe I'm guesstimating, I'm using my inference skills to decipher that you're black, right? And I see him making negative comments about Deontay Wilder. He's making excuses, whatever the excuse may be. I don't know. Does that supersede the culture? Because he stands up and fights for the culture. Now, here's what I believe. I believe when you have someone fighting for what's greater, you wrap your arms around them, right? It's like grandma. Grandma don't know how to use the computer. Grandma don't know what's going out in the streets, but you love grandma 1,000% through thick and thin, right? She means well. She doesn't have the activity. A lot of her stuff is wrong. She doesn't move well. She needs assistance driving. But when she opens up her mouth, you listen, right? And the same thing could be probably said about every other guy. But since Deontay Wilder, he may do a lot of things wrong in the ring. He may do a lot of right things in the ring. But when he opens his mouth, he speaks up for us. And that is, in my humble opinion, I think that supersedes what goes on in the ring. And if I also said in many of my videos, my admiration for Deontay Wilder exceeds the ring, and because he stands up for what's right. How I grew up in America, how I grew up on eating grilled cheese sandwiches for 7 days out the week. You know what I mean? Y'all know what I'm talking about, that block of cheese, and it's a real story. And how I know that the job isn't done. I'm going to protect that vessel because, in my humble opinion, he makes our job a whole lot easier. You understand? Down on the street level, because we can use sports and Deontay Wilder to draw a connection with our fallen brothers and sisters, to draw a bridge to maybe they can walk our way for help, or maybe we can walk their way for help. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to cut the sensor on so y'all can see me, but it's not as important. But I think it's essential that we see it from 50,000 feet, because he is the only man in boxing that is this loud. You know, same thing with LeBron James. Go back to my Chris Broussard video. I don't care how many free throws LeBron James missed. It is just asinine for us to beat LeBron James down to a pulp. It's asinine on our parts. It's stupid, in my humble opinion. We have a man who's using his power and resources, using white people's money to tell our stories. 48 Laws of Power. I go through that all the time. I'm going to get back on that series. I've had a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I'll share it with you at some point or another. But I'll get back on the Patreon too, so don't fret. I've already done some videos. I just haven't uploaded them. I think I might want to redo them. But I think it's just important that we understand, in my humble opinion, the culture supersedes wins and losses. And I think when we already have the white man telling the narrative, we have to counter the white man's narrative. I just humbly believe that. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Now, I haven't listened to a lot of people's videos lately. I need to do a lot of catching up. I need to do a lot of catching up. So I don't know what everyone's saying on this subject. But what I can say is I read your comments because it pops up on my phone, and I scroll through them, and I watch how people who function on low frequencies call me a Deontay Wilder fanboy. But if you know my channel, if you've been fucking with my channel, you know I've been waiting for an athlete to stand up and talk like this on a larger scale. I've been waiting for the heavyweight champion of the world to speak up and talk like this. I've been waiting. Since you've been following my channel, I've been waiting for the return of Jehovah. I've been waiting, you know what I mean? For all my, that was a parable. Got people go, somebody gonna put in the car, oh, he's comparing Deontay to Jesus. But at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, what's more important? If you want to keep it real, keep it, man, on what goes on in the wins and losses, then you should keep your mouth shut when a policeman guns another man down. You have no voice as it relates to that. Because if you're tearing a man down who's carrying your small message, carrying my small message, my small platform, your small platform, her small platform, and culminating and galvanizing all this energy and taking it to the largest boxing stage ever, the heavyweight champion of the world, and still speaking for us, you should overvalue that, in my humble opinion. My opinion is not so humble. In my assertions, I should say, because I think it's just essential and important that we understand that you're black in America. I don't care what people say, oh, we need to quit it. Everything is not about race. Everything is about race. You need to read. If you haven't read 100 books on equality and slavery and civil rights and all this, for real, or haven't spent hundreds of hours doing research, you only know what they tell you and what you've seen, you shouldn't comment on this subject saying it's not about race. If you saw what they did to that black woman in 1615 and 1315, you would sit back and listen and let grandma talk to you. You would sit back on her plastic white couch. The one time a year she lets you sit on that plastic white couch, and you need to sit down and listen. I think this is the time that we need to sit back and listen. Everyone in this comment section, not many people in this comment section, says President Obama didn't act black. Right? I'm being real. I'm being real. I've had conversations with myself about President Obama not acting black. He did some good things for the black community, and I think I need to do a video on the good things that he did, because he does a lot. He did a lot of things like I did. You understand, where it's encoded. You know what I mean? And if you pick up on it, God bless you. You know, because he's the president of the United States of America. Now, did I want him to sit down with the Bloods and the Crips and the Vice Lords and the 5%ers and go to Rikers Island? You know what I mean? Go to San Quentin? 1,000%. I wanted that. And the essays and the, you know what I mean? 1,000%. So as I digress back into what I was saying, you got to pick a side. You can't go back and forth, because when another black child gets gunned down, when another black woman gets raped, when another injustices about another black person in America happens, and you value a win or a loss over a man fighting for the culture, you have no merit. You have no value. And you need to read and understand. You need to read and understand how this began. I'm not going to go into a spiel on how it went down, but if you want to have I'm going to do it. I think YouTube would ban me if I did that. Maybe I'll do it on my Patreon. It'll probably be an hour-long video, 2-hour-long video. Maybe I'll do it. Many of you guys know I was a history major in college with an emphasis in quote-unquote African-American studies, right? I don't believe in the term African-American. I believe in black, because in my humble opinion, if you believe in African-American studies, your history started when they told you it started. So, I just want us to understand. We have a man like Deontay Wilder, and if you understand it, you have to understand. I'm getting texts and messages. You have to understand, if you're gonna fight the good fight, you need a bigger platform. All right, you have to extend your arm and allow him to spread your message. If you're black and believe in equality, you should unsubscribe to my channel. You should never click on my channel again or waste your time comment in the comment section or listen to my commentary. You're wasting your time. We need to buy our own. We need to be owners, okay? That's why sometimes I marvel when I see a black man or a black woman who owns their house. I sit there and I'm amazed sometimes. So I'll be like, wow, you know how hard it is to own a house? First, you got to get the money. And keep in mind, this is the first generation of black wealth in America. This is the first generation. Remember, we just became normal, quote unquote normal, equal, quote unquote equal rights after the Vietnam War. Right? Let's be free and clear. All right? And with that being said, I just marvel sometimes. First, you got to get the money. First, you got to get the job. Then you got to get the money. That sounds like that song. First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the respect, right? What you need in life: money, power, respect. What you need in life. Anyways, you got to get the job first. You know what the vetting system is? Trying to get a job. Then you got to save the money. Then you got to go through the discrimination with the banks and the interest rates. And I'm being real. I'll just say my name is Frederick Hawthorne, and I've gone through that. Okay, people think I'm white a lot of the times. A lot of times because it's my name, and a lot of times is because of my diction. So, and it's just the reality of it, you know. And I think it's just important that we start applauding each other. You understand? I don't know what it's like to be anything else in America. I know what it's like to be a black man in America. And it's tough. And it's hard. And when we get the one time, this is the first time in the history of sports and Y2K. This is the first time. Tiger Woods didn't do it. Kobe Bryant didn't do it. Who else was great in this era? Floyd Mayweather didn't do it. Derek Jeter didn't do it. Who else? The greatest athletes of this era. You can go on and on and on. We have two right now. LeBron James and Deontay Wilder. Those are the only two who are visually vocal on a daily basis, whether it's through their actions or through their interactions or it's through their vocal cords. And I think we need to fully grasp and understand how important that is to the culture. Now, if you want to criticize LeBron, see, listen, I don't see if you're analyzing the game, but when you're consistently just dogging a man and dogging a man and dogging a man, I'm talking about Deontay Wilder or LeBron James, we just consistently dogging a man, you got to look in the mirror. Because the white man is spilling that same narrative. Find a new story. Find a new story. It was like when I had to write every day, I used to be the beat writer for the Clippers and shit like that. I had to create, I use the greatest example. Kobe Bryant played for the Lakers for 20 years, right? He's always a top 3 candidate in the MVP, right? And my editor taught me something. He says Blake Griffin gonna win the MVP. He wrote an article on it to start the NBA season, right? Either he would go to the games, or I was the beat writer. Whenever he didn't want to go, I would go. A lot of times I would cover it from my couch, you know. He says, I says, you know damn well Blake Griffin is not the MVP. You know what he told me? You got to write something. And I said, I got it. I learned a lot in just that simple quote. He said, maybe it was on a lower frequency at the time, and now it's on a higher frequency now. All right? Why repeat the same narrative everyone else is repeating? You lose value. You sound like a fool. Listen, the most foolish thing is to be the 10th person following the 9th person. That's the most foolish thing. Not most, but it's one of the more foolish things you can do. They don't need no more. Why would you be the 10th person? Invent, create your own. Write your own story. All right? And it's just asinine. It's just asinine that we as a people can't see the bigger picture. You guys are just, and when I say you guys, I'm talking about the people in my comment section who don't fully grasp it. All right, y'all don't fully grasp what the hell I'm talking about, and it's just awful. It's just pathetic. I'm proud of the term fanboy because y'all can relate to it. Since my first subscriber, I tell every black athlete, my job is to make your profile as big as it can possibly be. And simultaneously, my subscriber base, my channel has grown to a place where it's now adequate. You know, it's I mean, you guys know, you guys have seen my growth. You know, from me getting better, dictating my story or my narrative to y'all, to the numbers in my subscriber base. But at this point, my sub count doesn't have as much value as the reach. As I told you guys, 70% of my audience don't even subscribe to my channel. So with that being said, if your truth is the score as opposed to the culture, don't get mad when police brutality comes, because Deontay's voice brings attention to police brutality. Deontay's voice brings attention to the inequality in home ownership in America. Deontay's voice brings light to the inequalities in our education system. You know, Deontay's voice brings light of the wealth gap in America. And Deontay Wilder is a wealthy man. I mean, he's a wealthy man. In the next 3 months, y'all gonna see some shit out of me. I'm working on some things behind the scenes. What up, Callie and Nick? But he always says behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, or breaking news. I'm gonna drop some breaking news, Blue Blood. Who else got some quotes? I can't think of right now, but y'all gonna see some things that's gonna open up some things. I'm working on some things. I'm putting things together, and we'll see. But I think it's just important. Now, when a man is a fool, he's a fool. I 100% get all that. When a man goes against the culture, you have every right to speak on it. But you can't speak on the man going against the culture if you value the score of the game more important than the score of the culture. You can't do it. You cannot do it. You need to sit down, shut up, and let other people work. If you have an opinion about Deontay Wilder when he's speaking up about Black America, I feel sorry for you. I'm talking to all my black men out there. I feel sorry for you. Because you're never going to get it. You're chasing that house and the picket fence and those 2 kids. You are. You want to be the vice president of a white man's company. That's what you want to be. Yeah, you want to be the CFO. You want to be his assistant. For real, for that. That's your goal. If Deontay's voice bothers you, you're going to be an employee the rest of your life. Mentally. You may own your own shit, but you're still comparing yourself to another white man. Your mindset is all fucked up. All fucked up. All skewed. And I think it's just important. And I'm talking to all the men in my comment section. Alright? I'm going to catch up on a lot of your videos. I've been behind. Alright? Like I said, I'm going to share a video of what's been going on in my life. I'm going to share it with you guys because I think it's important to persevering. And I just want you guys to understand that it's not given to the swift, it's not given to the strong, but he who endures, okay? And as a black man, I have and we have been enduring for quite some time. All right? In 2013, how many times did you want Kobe Bryant to speak up? How many times? In 2006, how many times did you want Roy Jones to speak up? Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield. No one wants to touch these subjects. If I get one-on-one interviews, I'm going to make it a point that I talk about social issues with these people. I want to know where they stand. White, black, indifferent. I genuinely want to know where they stand. You know, I do. I think it's important. So at the end of the day, what score do you value? Do you value the score of the game? Do you value split decisions, unanimous decisions in a boxing match? Or do you value split decisions, losses, unanimous decisions, knockouts, TKOs in the culture? You got to ask yourself this. It's just what I feel. So, I appreciate y'all. Barbershop Conversations. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to join my Patreon. I have some Patreons done. I'll be back on it. I'll upload some more. But I have 2 vacancies. So what I'm gonna do on my Patreon, I'm gonna take you guys through my whole vacancies on my Patreon to teach you guys how to understand and upgrade your apartments and help you understand it. So on my Patreon, I'm gonna walk you through all that, since I'll have 2 vacancies in the next 30 days. So one is an eviction, so I got to go through that process, and one is actually vacant. So Saturday or maybe tomorrow, I'll have my daughter tomorrow. I'm gonna walk you guys through that whole process and the raw materials and the cost of it, so you guys can, because all my future homeowners and landowners and property owners, so you can visually see it, and I'm gonna do it on my Patreon. So anyways, man, barbershop comments. So join the Patreon. It's only $5. Buy me a burger. How about that? Buy me a milkshake. Join for 1 month, and I guarantee you the past videos is gonna help you, and we're gonna go forward from this. So anyways, man, I just want to say thank you. I salute y'all, but you guys got to understand what's more important. Keeping it real. I don't like keeping it real. Keeping it real. We say that I'm a real one. I keep it real. What else? What else we say? 100. What other terms we use? I don't know what else whatever term we use, but I'm a real one, right? I think I already said that. 10 toes down. What else we say? Anyways, you guys get my picture. What's more important? The culture or the box scores? What's more important? The box scores or the culture? Barbershop Conversations. I'm gone. Peace.